And the guy who joins me now knows all about that. It's one of those things, we say it, and as soon as we say it, either somebody looks at us or we kick ourselves. Here's the voice of the Oshawa Generals, Mike Luck, joining us. Mike, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely, Terry. You got that.
Yes, you never say the game's moving along very quickly because then something happens. Mike, good to see you here. Take me through at the Oshawa Generals right now, taking on the Kingston Frontenacs. The Frontenacs have the lead in the series, but the Generals with a big comeback late in game number 3. I'm sure that was an exciting one, but give me the view so far on that series.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for the Oshawa Generals, certainly going down 2-0 in kind of lackadaisical fashion, to be honest, Terry. The first two games were not what Oshawa wanted. Certainly, they want to drive the pace and play physical. They did get physical at the end of game 1. Cam Butler took a suspension for 2 games for a slew foot. They did show some real life, though, and started to make their mark in the series at the third period of game 2, and they carried that momentum into game 3. A great game. Kingston got a couple of good bounces in the second period, ended up tied late, and Leighton Moore, with 8 seconds left in the third period, won the game for Oshawa. Game 4 back at home did not go the Generals' way. And again, for 2 periods, they looked good. Third period, though, Kingston took over. And really, we started to see the likes of Shane Wright, Zane Wisdom, and especially Martin Chromiak start to kind of lead the way through that series. Lucas Edmonds as well. We know the top 6 of the Kingston Frontenacs are deadly. It's the bottom 6 that Oshawa was trying to take advantage of and couldn't do it. They're down 3-1, must-win game, and we'll see what happens. As we all know, junior hockey, anything can happen, and certainly ending a team season is the toughest thing to do.
And of course, on the other side of the ledger, you touched on some of those names, but I'm sure it's interesting to see the star players with the Kingston Frontenacs as well. The Oshawa Generals have some great stars. Of course, Ty Tullio leading the way, the Edmonton Oilers prospect, but I'm sure you get into a playoff series like this, getting to see consecutive games with the guys like the Wrights and the Wisdoms and the Edmonds and so many more. I'm sure that's where calling junior hockey games can be a lot of fun.
It is, and that's where you start to see stars shine. Paul Ludwinski being one for Kingston that had a great rookie campaign and coming in to his rookie season in the OHL and needed to kind of step up in the playoffs as that third line presence, and that's exactly what he did. Jordan Frasca taking a suspension for game 4 certainly helped Ludwinski move up. We've seen Alec Belanger come out in this series, a defenseman who's been playing forward. He did so a bit with Ottawa when he played there for the 67s, but he taking face-offs in a second and third line role for the Kingston Frontenacs in game 4. It really does kind of start to lend to where the stars come out to shine. And Ty Tullio has been the backbone of the Oshawa Generals all season long. Everyone knows that. Brett Harrison, I think, quietly had close to a 60-point season. And I say quietly because he does it in just workmanship fashion. Doesn't do a lot of dramatic things, but at the same time, he's a very good hockey player, a Boston third rounder, and he has been leading the way for the Generals in this series. We need to see, and the Generals need to see certainly more from the likes of Oscar Olsen and Ryan Stepien, guys who scored goals in bunches throughout the way for Oshawa. If they're going to survive in game 5, they need that depth.
Mike, around the Ontario Hockey League, we know players, coaches, everyone looking to make a jump through in their career and move on to the National Hockey League. That's the dream. That's the approach. And when it comes to that development, and we can say broadcasters as well, as this season had the opportunity to work some games with the Ottawa Senators as well. I'm sure that was quite a nice way to continue on in your growth as well.
Thank you very much, Terry. Yeah, it was an honor, to say the least, to get the call up. And you're right. I mean, we say it's the best development league in hockey, and it's development for coaches and players, for management staff, and as well for broadcasters. And, getting to say Hockey Night in Canada after your name is a thrill of a lifetime. I won't say it was the goal. When we get into this business and we get into calling hockey games at the junior hockey level, it's a passion, and you know it well. It's what we do. We love to do. We certainly don't do it for the money. We do it for the experience and just because we love being around the game. And when you get the call to go up to the higher level, it does feel like a big call. It is a huge moment. It was a thrill of a lifetime, and I hope to do more.
when you got a chance to do the games with Ottawa, I'm sure the one thing that really drew your attention is those guys who came through the Ontario Hockey League. And now, we see it when we even watch the highlights of the games, but now being able to work the games as well, I'm sure, we got a chance to go through the lineups of both clubs when you were preparing for your games, and the memory of some of their time in the Ontario Hockey League probably came right to the forefront.
Yeah, it was great. Ottawa is certainly did a few games with them. Got a chance to do Ottawa Boston right off the gate, and that was Jack Studnicka coming back, and had a chance to catch up with him. DJ Smith, with former coach of the Oshawa Generals, of course, coach in Ottawa, and so was Bob Jones, an associate coach there. So got a chance to catch up with them, and then did the Ottawa Chicago game, and right away had a chance to see Calvin DeHaan and Riley Stillman, a couple former Generals, and then the Erie Otters connection happening there, Dylan Strome and Alex DeBrincat. And these are all names that, as you go through the years in the Ontario Hockey League, you call them, you see them from young kids. And it really is awesome to watch them develop and mature into their NHL careers and professional careers beyond that.
And I'm sure over the years too, we talk about on the pro side, but even I've got to think over your time, and whether any specific name comes to mind right now, but in general, that idea that players who came through the OHL or came through the Oshawa Generals and went on to be successful in the business side or other careers, I'm sure once again, you feel good. It's just those people connections and seeing people be successful is what keeps us all going here.
Yeah, it's great. You develop great relationships. Obviously, the pandemic years have been a bit tough without the same access to the players. If you do radio calls, I started out doing that in my career, and you get a chance to ride the bus and really get to know the guys a little bit better. I think the likes of Kevin Bailey, who goes on to play at Queens and becomes a lawyer. I was texting earlier this year. My son was playing a hockey tournament in Aurelia, and saw an homage to Brett Parnham there. And I thought, oh boy! So I text Brett right away and said, "Hey, you're a star at this rink, and they're mentioning you by name." And still involved too with Will Petchenik, and he started a Will's Warriors charity, and has become a police officer in the Durham region. Stayed locally here with Oshawa. It's great as you get to develop those relationships, and again to see these young players mature on. You forget sometimes that they were kids, they were babies when they played in the Ontario Hockey League, but they have grown into very good young men.
Yeah, it's great to see them whether they go on in the hockey career or any other aspect of their careers. It's great to see. Mike, it's good to catch up with you. We appreciate you taking the time to join us here on this Saturday now afternoon. I had to double check. It's been a few hours since we've been going here. So, and we look forward to your calls upcoming with the Oshawa Generals and, hopefully the higher levels once again, and look forward to seeing you in person anytime soon.
Terry, you're doing a great job. Fantastic. And I'm looking so forward to seeing all of these names at training camps, and to these young men who are having their names called today. All the best in their futures. I hope to be a part of it at some point.
Mike, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you soon.